right. So welcome back to the Nicole Holland Show. Today, I'm very excited. This is a guest I've been looking forward to having with me for so long. And actually, my friend Jan Ilonga introduced me to this amazing platform called SocialBee. And I thought, this is really neat. And let me get to know the founder and learn about who this is for and how it serves. Because I get so many questions about automation and how can I simplify, and like social media, it's overwhelming. And so I'm a big proponent of automations, as long as it doesn't take away the personal engagement. So it's like, automate what we can in our businesses, but make sure we're still serving people at a really high level. And so when Jan introduced me to SocialBee, I was like, okay, I've got to have them on my podcast. So let me introduce Ovi, and I'm not going to butcher his last name. So after 10 plus years of experience working in various firms ranging from startups to Fortune 500 companies, having also some entrepreneurial ventures in between, Ovi jumped full-time into the startup world with Nugget, which is now acquired and is now focused on SocialBee. SocialBee offers all-in-one tools and services for content posting and recycling, follower growth, engagement, and more to put your social media on autopilot. Ovi also developed the alternative startup methodology that shifts the conventional startup model by focusing on the sell, service, scale, sequence. He has experience in building and managing software development teams, building SaaS and mobile products, creating ROI positive social media, marketing, and product launches. And he's always happy to help. And he is this day that we're recording has been kind of a crazy day for me. My cat had an emergency. We had to go to the vet, and he is so graciously up late. It's after 11 p.m. and he's coming to us from Romania, and I so appreciate him being here. So Ovi, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Okay, so before we jump in, because we're going to be doing some demo today, so for folks who are listening on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, whatever your favorite podcast player is, you may want to come over to the NicoleHollandShow.com so that you can actually see the video. So we're going to be doing some demos today, in addition to just talking about SocialBee, who it's for, who it's not for, how it serves, and really getting into that. So again, TheNicoleHollandShow.com. Come on over, check out the video. So before we jump into that, Ovi, do you want to just give us an overview of really what is SocialBee, who uses it, and who benefits the most, and what is it not?
Yeah. So basically, SocialBee is a tool for solopreneurs, small businesses, startups, for small teams to get better results from social media. And what we're really good at is automating, as you said, the parts which should be automated, and then giving room for real human interaction where it's needed to get the most engagement. And basically what we do is that we have the platform, but we also have services because we know that at the end of the day, especially solopreneurs, startups, small businesses are really struggling with time, and what they need is more of the result and not the tool. So we also have a few services where we help companies with content. We help them grow an audience. So we keep adding more and more tools and more services. But basically what you can do in SocialBee is that you can create a category-based posting system. So what this will do is that it will allow you to have a better mix of content across your social profiles without you having to spend time to think about it so hard. We really give you a good structure around that. And then we can also recycle your best evergreen content, so you won't have to spend time to always schedule the same things again and again.
Fantastic. So can we talk about which platforms, you say across social platforms, what are these different platforms that SocialBee works with?
Yeah, so we integrate with all of the major social networks. So we can post on Facebook groups and then the pages. And because Facebook also shut down recently the third-party access to post on personal profiles, but we have something in the works where we won't totally automate that, but we will be able to help with that. And besides that, we can also post on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Google Plus for a short few more weeks probably. But we're working on Google My Business as well, and Pinterest is also in the works. So basically all of the major social networks.
Awesome. And the different types, so you mentioned, automating the things that should be automated and not the things that shouldn't. So what are those things that should be automated in your opinion?
Yeah, so content posting is definitely one of the things that should be automated. And this is because of two reasons. One is that it would be just silly for you to try to always remember when did you last post on which social network, to go in there and manually schedule it and maybe even put it at the right time. That's one. And then the other one is also because by giving you a structure, it is going to be so much easier for you to have a better mix of content. Because for example, if you're in a content curation mode, you would regularly just find 10 curated articles, which if you don't schedule at the right time, they will just come one after the other. And you want to mingle things. You want to put in some promotional posts in between, maybe some quotes, some of your own blog posts, and so on. So we really help you with that structure, and automation is what drives this.
Awesome. So are there any things that people should know? Like who is this best for, and who is it not for? Because it seems like any entrepreneur or business owner could use this to grow their social media following, provide value to their audience. It sounds like there's a number of use cases. So can you tell us first, who is this not a fit for, and then maybe a couple more use cases that people are enjoying with SocialBee?
Yeah, sure. So SocialBee is definitely not for the corporates, at least not at this time. And we do have already some things in place. For example, with some approvals of posts, but we don't have the complex workflows and the complex approval processes that corporates need. So most of our customers are either solopreneurs or small companies, either startups or established businesses, but usually small businesses. And it's not a team that needs to really get a lot of approvals and so on. So these are the people that we help the most. And on the automation side, I've told you about the content, but we also have some tools around growing an audience and finding the perfect audience for you, specifically on Twitter, plus services to help you with that on LinkedIn as well, and on Instagram. But on Twitter, what we can do is that we can really find that best audience that would be interested in what you're doing and help you connect with them. And just as well, we can help you see who is not following you anymore, or who are the people that you want to stop following.
Awesome. Okay, so is there anything else I should have asked you before we jump into a demo?
Maybe I can tell you a bit more about the services, because what we realized is that people do need the services besides the tool itself. And we really see a lot of our growth coming from the services side. And we see people requesting more services from us. So we just recently introduced the social media specialist, where we are actually creating social media posts for you. And we're also thinking of having blog posts later on. Because at the end of the day, especially small companies and solopreneurs have such a limited time. So we can really help them accelerate that, and we help them through our services.
Awesome. So I apologize if you're seeing this video. My cat just came back from the emerge, and he's not happy with this hat. So he's been trying to get up here. So I'm just going to hold him for a little bit.
No problem.
Awesome. You know what? The other thing I actually wanted to ask you about that I didn't was, how did you figure out that this was something that was needed? Like, why did you create this in the first place?
Yeah, so actually, as you've also mentioned in my bio, we actually started another startup before, which is called Nugget. And what we did with Nugget is that we created we brought out quotes from business and personal development books, and we generated a lot of evergreen content that we needed to share on social media. And we also found out that if we interact with the right people on social media, and especially on Twitter at that time, we can really get people to subscribe to our newsletter, to then become users of our app. And we used all sorts of various tools, some existing on the market, some internal, some manual work to get the whole workflow going. And at one point we said, okay, let's try to productize this and turn this into a product. And the first version was actually put together like with duct tape, with Zapier integration and Google Sheets and some manual work. But even with that version, we got people who are ready to pay for us, pay us for that. And basically, when we realized that, we saw that there's a lot more potential in SocialBee, and then we doubled down on SocialBee. We exited Nugget, and we're focused on SocialBee since.
Fantastic. Okay, cool. So let's dive in then. Where would you like us to start?
Yeah, so let me share my screen with you, and I'm gonna walk you briefly through SocialBee. Can you see my screen? Perfect.
I can, yeah.
Perfect. Okay, good. So basically at SocialBee, we have three main parts that we're focused on: the content part, the grow part, and then the engage part. And I'm gonna walk you through all of this in my account. So basically on the content side, as I said, it's a category-based posting system, which allows you to also recycle your evergreen content. So you can create as many content categories as you'd like, and each category can be either evergreen or share once. And what we usually recommend most people use is something about a promotional category, something that you really promote your business. Another category could be your own blog posts. Another category could be articles which have been written about you. Another category could be curated content, and maybe also something more light and more visual, like quotes, questions, and fun. We also recommend having that. And it's definitely going to depend from business to business, but most businesses can use and should use these categories. So once you go into a category, you will be able to see the posts which you have in there. And to add a post is really easy. You just hit the add a post button, select whichever profiles you want to post on, you add the text in, the images or the videos, and then you're done. And you can also choose to post at a specific time, but we don't recommend this, and I'm going to show you soon why. And you can also expire a content at any given time. So for example, Nicole, if you are going to speak at an event, you want to promote that event, obviously, but you don't want to promote it once the event is done. So then you can say, okay, expire this post once the date of the event has been hit, or maybe you want to expire after you posted a specific post for 3 times, for example. And
can I interrupt and ask you something about this?
Please do.
So you had all of the different categories before, yeah? So would like if you were doing a special event or you were speaking at something, could you not create a category just for that time frame for like promoting that event?
Yeah, that's exactly the best way to do it, because that way you know how often you want to also schedule posts from that category. Everything is nicely pulled together. You make sure you have the posts from that category going out in the right dates and at the right times. So that's definitely one thing that we would recommend. Yeah.
Thanks.
And welcome. And basically, besides just creating the posts, what you can also do is that you can also customize them. So even though it's the same post, it's going to be a bit different for each of the social networks. And you can make it totally different if you want. Like, for example, on Twitter, you can just put some hashtags in there. Or on LinkedIn, you maybe want to use more of a corporate language. On Facebook, maybe you want to add some nice videos or something more light, and so on.
Okay, again, I need to interrupt you. So for those people who are listening and not over here at the NicoleHollandShow.com, you got to see this video. So that just blew my mind. So you don't have to go and do multiple different, adding content for different types of or different profiles. You actually have all those profiles right there and you can modify the state. What a time saver. That's amazing.
Yeah. And especially, for example, if you have multiple profiles, one your personal and one for your business, you can tweak the same basically the same message, but you can tweak it a bit so it really sounds that it's coming from your personal profile versus from your company profile. Or on Twitter, again, they introduced some rules a few months ago where you cannot have exactly the same post on multiple profiles. But with this, you can just tweak them a bit, and then they're going to be unique, and you can easily then share that across all of your Twitter profiles as well. Yeah, and besides this, we also have this approved status. So each post has this approved status. So as I said, we're not suited for corporates at this level, but you can work with a VA or with our concierge services, and then somebody can add the content, somebody else can approve it. So once you have your category set up and you add content in them, it's time to set up a posting schedule. And this is where the category-based posting system comes into play. Because instead of scheduling posts, which you can also do, but you can usually schedule categories. So at any time, you can choose to post from a specific category or just say that you want a random category. And then what SocialBee does is that it will generate the posting based on your settings. And we have a different way of viewing the same view by going on a specific profile. And besides the fact that here it's a table-based view, what I like here is that we also show you some stats. So you can actually see each day from which category you're posting and how many times you're posting from each category any given week. So that way you can really know if you're oversharing from a category versus not sharing enough from another one. Because you should be mindful to not over promote. You should be giving a lot of value on social media. You should be personal. You should add some more fun into it. So this way you can actually see the structure of your posts. So then basically we can go to view your next posts. And here you can view it as either as a calendar or just view it as a list. And what SocialBee does is that basically we generate all of these settings. We take all of these settings to generate your posting schedule. And if a category is set to be evergreen, this means that we're going to post the items from that category one by one until we get to the last post, and then we just jump to the first one again. So this way you will be able to recycle your best content without you having to always schedule things again and again. So you can see here what's going to be posted next on my profile, from which category, at which time. If there's an image or a video, you will see that as well. If, for example, there's a category which is empty, we will not post anything from that category. So basically, you have full control over what's going to be posted next on your profiles.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, and besides that, we have also multiple ways for you to add content to SocialBee, because our whole model is to help you save time so you can then get better results. And basically, you can connect RSS feeds, you can connect your Pocket. We have all sorts of ways for you to import your existing content, a Zapier integration, and a browser extension as well. So there are multiple ways for you to really easily feed content to SocialBee. So this was the content part. Nicole, do you have any questions related to this so far? Something I can address further?
Yeah, so the browser extension, can you explain how that works?
Yeah, so basically, once you're on a page, let's say I'm on a great page here, what was formerly the BBR show, and with the browser extension,
maybe to the podcast episodes or something, you can find a great episode.
Yeah, maybe one of the episodes. But for example, if I want to share the full page, I would just hit the browser extension. Then this pop-up would come up, and I can choose. Okay, I should add this to the curated category. I would say, check out this amazing podcast. And then even here, I could customize it so it's different for each social network, and then just schedule it right from here, add it to the right category. And whenever it's time for that category to be posting, it would be posted right away. Or if you want, I could also just post it right now. So this is
yeah, it's something I really love, because, you know, when I'm doing content curation and I'm looking through different things, like I know there's also the opportunity, and maybe you want to talk about that with the RSS feed, but I'm always hesitant to fully just put in RSS feeds because I never know really what's going to come out. So there's people that I will follow, like founder, and I'll look at what are there things that are relevant to my particular audience. And then as I'm going through their stuff, then I can pick and choose really simply with that extension. And it's like so it's not all of founders feed, but it's just certain pieces of it. And that's something I really enjoy doing. So I love the extension.
Yeah, exactly. But also with the RSS feed, actually, it's quite powerful. So you can use it in a way where it can help you with curation as well. So let me show you how you would set up an RSS feed in SocialBee. So basically, you'd add a new setting, select for which profiles you want that feed to go on, because maybe you don't want for all of your profiles, select in which category. And then obviously you would need to add the RSS URL. And then you can also add something at the end, like via and then the handle of the author of that blog, or some hashtags. And then coming back to your point, you can add those posts as approved or as not approved. And then if you want, you can just add them as not approved, and once per week or once every now and then, you go in that specific category, you see all of your posts there, and just approve the ones that you like, and you can just leave there the ones that you don't like.
Holy time saver.
That's what we are trying to do with everything here, to really save a lot of time, because we know that's the most valuable resource that especially entrepreneurs have. Yeah. So do you have any other questions related to the content side?
No, I think the content side, we've got a great foundation on. And of course, if my listeners are having questions about the content side, at the NicoleHollandshow.com on the show notes page, there's a space to put down any comments, any questions, anything like that, which Ovi, you can of course come back and check out, and I'll keep tabs on as well. Or they can reach out directly to you as well at SocialBee. And we can talk about that at the end, but if you just want to drop your how to contact you right now as we're here, and then we can move on to the growth and engagement and the different things that SocialBee does as well.
Yeah, sure. So indeed, we're quite accessible. If you just go to socialbee.io, you'll find multiple ways to reach us. One is the website chat, which we have both in the app and on the website. And another one, which I would actually recommend your listeners to do, is to go to socialbee.io/calendar, or once they're in the app, here under help, they can just schedule a success call. And this will be a free call with with somebody from our team, and we will give you a walk down of SocialBee, but really tailored to you. We will know exactly by then what your needs are. We can come up with some suggestions and some ideas. And even if you don't end up using SocialBee, I'm sure that my team will give you some really great ideas or suggestions that you can take and implement in your social strategy. And we're really accessible also on the socials, obviously, but socialbee.io, that's the center point where you can find us.
Perfect. Okay, so what's next?
Yeah, so next, let's go into the grow side. And this is a Twitter-only functionality that we give you the option to find relevant accounts to follow. And we can do that in multiple ways. One is the copy followers. And here, for example, what you can do is that you can search the accounts who are following a specific profile. So, for example, in my case, I might be looking at the followers of Y Combinator, which is a prestigious startup accelerator. We have all sorts of filters that we can apply here. And then once I find somebody I like to follow them, is really easy. I just come here and hit the plus button. Or we can also do this for you as a service where our team will do it for you. It's not automated because Twitter does not allow automation when it comes to this part. But with this service, from your point of view, it would be automated. So here, basically, what we recommend is following the followers of a competitor or an influencer in your space, or basically somebody that has the audience that you're targeting, because people like to follow people which are relevant to them. And then if it's somebody who that has the audience that you're targeting, once you follow them, once they get that notification, they will check out your profile. And if they like what they see, because that's a key part, so it starts from the content, but then with the grow, you can get in front of these people. And if they like what they see, some of them will choose to follow you back. And besides the copy followers part, we also have the user search, where basically you can find people who have specific keywords in their bio, or the keyword search, where you can see people who are tweeting about a specific keyword. So for example, you might be looking for the people who are tweeting a specific hashtag, like the hashtag of a podcast or of an event. If you're going to an event, you can just easily follow all the people who have been tweeting about that event and start a relationship with that audience. And then here on the non-followers, you will be able to see the people that you are following but are not following you back. It's up to you if you decide to add them to a whitelist, meaning that you will follow them even if they don't follow you back. They will not show up here, or you can just easily unfollow them from this page. So this is the grow part. And the last part is the engage part, where basically once you have a new follower, you can send them an automated mention or direct message. And you can create as many variants of these messages as you'd like. And we also have some variables that we can use, like the first name, location, city, current day. So I can even say something like, hey, Nicole, how's your Thursday? Have you seen my latest blog post? And then maybe put a link to a blog post there. And how we usually recommend people using this is either as a conversation starter, so just asking an open-ended question to get that engagement started, or sending people to a specific resource like a blog post or a YouTube video, or just to a specific landing page, which is quite valuable. And the goal here is basically to automate the engagement at scale. But obviously, once they reply, it's up to you to continue that conversation. And I'm going to show you something which is even more powerful, which we call targeted mentions. And basically what we do here is that you can create categories with filters on them and with messages in these categories. And then depending on who's going to follow you, they will fall under one or another category. So yeah, and then the messages are going to be really customized for them. So for example, in my case, I have a category which I called influencers. And here I have filters to filter people who have at least 10,000 followers, because I would consider them an influencer. And then in this category, I have some questions about how they got to this number of followers, if they're also using maybe SocialBee to grow their audience, and so on. I have another category which is around people who are in the social media space. So people who have social media or social media manager in their bio. And then I ask them a specific set of questions which are really relevant for them. Other categories, and one which I really like is for people that don't have a profile picture. I just tell them to go and put one on. Probably they're new to Twitter and it's a good tip for them. And a lot of people actually reply and say, oh, look, I updated my picture. Do you like it? And I usually respond positively to that. And then for everybody else, it's the default mentions.
So good. I really love that that you do take away that legwork. So one thing that I've always believed in, and I haven't given Twitter love for quite some time at time of recording, and it's on the list of to-dos, which now I'm so excited to have SocialBee and to be able to leverage these kinds of automations, because what I used to do was I had a VA messaging all new followers, and we had a list of like 20 conversation starters, and she would pick and choose based on their profile. So that is very time intensive and costly, but for me it's the engagement that I think is so important. It's that authentic and real connection that I'm looking for. And while most people will never respond, the people who do, it is like you said before, you can build a relationship, and that has paid dividends. I actually launched my first business really through Twitter more than anything else, and the podcast through Twitter, because I found people who were interested in the content that I was producing, and I was able to start conversations with them. And I was able to learn with that, that was the initial thing that my VA did, and that clearly SocialBee does so much more effectively. And then once they replied, that was all me, and I was able to survey them. I was able to get to know them. Many people became clients and customers. Many became fans of the show. And, years later, it's like I still have those people in my tribe. And I think it's because of that real authentic connection. And so I think it's just such a point worth like really hammering in, because I hate DMs that are like automatic. I hate, autoresponders, autobots, but it's like people can do things automated in a way that is very personal and nurturing So like another thing is, you're a guest on my show, and this is feedback I get all the time, is like people aren't sure if the emails that I send them are automated or if I'm actually sending them. And I think it just goes to, how are you communicating, and at what point is is there a human behind it, and at what point is there automation behind it? So I just want to applaud you for this, and I'm blown away. I love this aspect, and of course people can abuse it, but I just want to let my audience know how important it is not to automate everything. Automate the stuff that takes the most amount of time, the one to very, very many, and those few of the many that contact you back, those are the ones to actually put the time into.
Yeah, and thanks for saying that. But indeed, there is a fine line between what you should automate and what you shouldn't. But as you also said, most people on Twitter, but on social media in general, are not really engaging in the sense of commenting nowadays. So because of that, you really have to try to engage with a lot of people to really get some responses in. And then once you do, it's the human touch which is the one which is needed, and that's where you actually build a relationship. But that first step can be automated. And indeed, it's a tool like any other tool. It can be abused, but people who try to abuse them, they won't see results with it, because you really need to don't overdo it, to make sure you're still a human and engaging on social media, because it's social at first. So it's a tool like any other. Ours is quite powerful, but if used properly, it can really help a lot.
Fantastic. Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so basically this is it in a nutshell. The content part allows you to post more often across your social profiles without you having to spend time to schedule things again and again. The grow part helps you grow your audience, and the engage part helps you to start a conversation with them. And both with our tool, but also with our services, what we do is that we help companies and entrepreneurs and solopreneurs to really save time, but also get more leads and better results on social.
Fabulous. So we are coming to the end. And is there anything you want to share that I haven't asked you about before we talk about how people, because I know by now people are like, okay, so what do I do to sign up? In fact, some people may have already gone, and I think you might have a special offer for my audience.
Yes, we do, of course. We for your audience, we were actually going to give a 20% discount, and they can just go to socialbee.io/Nicole Holland, and they will be redirected to the page where the discount is automatically applied, and they can just give it a try. As I said, we're also happy to jump on a one-on-one call with everybody from your audience to really show them how they can best use it and how their business can benefit from this. But they should just get started by going to socialbee.io/Nicole Holland.
Thank you so much. Any final words of wisdom you'd like to leave us with?
Yeah, I think it's coming back to the automation and coming back to social media. I think it's really important to make sure that you have really good content, because that's where it starts. But then you need to take the time to engage with people, to find right people to follow, to engage with them once they follow you back, and to not get overwhelmed. Because there's so much to do, but this is where tools like ours comes into play. And what we did is that we actually brought multiple functionalities together, so we can save you even more time and actually even more money, because this would be 2 or 3 tools that you would have to pay separately. And then for people who don't have that much time but would want to use our concierge services, they can also check them out on socialbee.io/concierge, because we keep adding more and more regularly, and it's a really great time saver for a very small cost. We really do think it's a really great value.
Super great value. Thank you so much, Ovi.
Thank you too.